my screen? If not, please let somebody put it in the questions box right away so I can figure out why you're not seeing my screen. But with that introduction, we're going to get rolling here. So first, let's go over what Google Home is and how it was designed for the home. The biggest and first one is the far field voice, meaning it has 2 mics to be able to pick up the natural language, and that is throughout the whole room. It can differentiate from ambient noise to actually the natural language, that tone, that frequency. So it has a multiple light ring on the top, and it's really a cool little light ring. It's all made of RGBW LEDs, and obviously it looks kind of like the Google Home lighting, but it also is, if there's any issues during setup or troubleshooting, it's got multiple patterns that it'll show, which makes it very easy for integration. Trying to figure out what's going on, what step is it in, it's not communicating to me, oh, well, the lights are showing that it's updating, just depending on the color and what type of flashes it's doing. So very cool integrated light ring. It also has that clean facade. It has a capacitive touch. The design really, it's elegant. It doesn't look like a can sitting on the table. It was built with elegance in mind, and it looks a lot like what people are doing with the air fresheners, and it's just a really nice looking little box with capacitive touch on top for volume up, down, mute, things like that. So it also has on the back, it has a mic mute, which makes it very nice, especially when you're having on a call or anything else. It's really a nice piece, and it is built for being able to put one in every room. The cost, the elegance, the customizing of a few different colors. It's made to be able to just add throughout the room, and add multiple throughout any room. So with that, let's get into what powers Google Home, and that is actually Google Assist. Google Assist is, put right into the Google's database. So if you hop on the Google web browser and you start typing stuff in, that same database is what Google Assist is looking into. It has the ability to tie also into your music, for Google Play, answers from Google itself, like I was just talking about, tying into your Google calendars for everyday tasks, and control around your home from, standard Google Chromecast, but it also ties into Nest, SmartThings, Philips Hue, a lot of others. We're going to go through that here shortly. So, and again, guys, for everybody that's just hopped on, as we're going through this, if you have any questions, please post them in the questions box, and we'll go over them at the very end. So, but some of the ways, everybody, Google Home is the voice activated, and it gives you the ability to, the Google Assist really works well to, give me a second here, guys. I got one in front of me. I'm going to unplug it before it starts talking to me. The Google Assist works very well to actually interpret what you're trying to say. So everything, you can say play music by, but it also things just like, hey, turn it up. It'll interpret what you're trying to say, and it will do it for you. It does a very good job at that. But it also gets you answers, everything from obviously web-based, but also local. When you're setting it up, you're putting in your address, your info, and you have the ability to ask it off of that. So you can do local info, like how long it's going to take to get to work. And it's going to look at traffic reports. It's going to look at what it's going to take and how long it's going to get you there. And it may ask also, recommend another route. Just things to make your life easier, to make the end user's life easier. So, some of the structured questions, things like weather, sports, finance, unit conversions, nutrition, those things obviously, but the biggest thing is how it can manipulate things for your local area, your lifestyle. And since it is tying into Google Docs, Google Home, Google Assist, and Google Calendar, it also now is your own personal secretary, we'll say. Things like wake me up, it instantly puts in a alarm, set time, a timer, asking it, what is my first event? What's my first meeting? when is my flight, it actually will pull all of that info. And since it's tying into that Google Calendar, the Google Docs, it's all cloud-based. It has the ability to track all that. You know, things like book me a car, I want a reservation, I want to move my reservation, you know, and add toothpaste, add whatever to shopping lists. It's literally turns it into your own secretary. So, I mean, picture the soccer mom in mind with 2 bags of groceries in her hands and trying to write down the notes and keep track of the day. This is her own personal secretary to be able to do that for her. So Google Assist has made it very, very great for the developers, for SDKs, but also for standard things like Google Docs and stuff like that. You know, just that statement, like I said, okay, Google, how long is it going to take to work? You know, it helps you manage those everyday tasks. But above and beyond that, it gives you control of your smart devices. So, you know, being able to say, Google, you know, I want to watch Stranger Things on Netflix in the living room, or, you know, Google, I want to throw on, you know, cartoons for the kids because the mom doesn't have time to go get the remote. You know, just those little things to be able to really make life easier. And that's what automation is truly. Whoa, sorry guys. Let me get back to this. Wrong button. Okay, so that's what automation is truly for, is to, you know, to make life easier for the customer. I mean, that's the whole goal for automation, and that's really what this is for. You know, and it ties into, we've talked about tying into Google Docs, Google Calendars, Gmail, all of those things. But being able to tie it into every aspect around the home, you know, to be able to turn on the lights, adjust the thermostat when you're cold, turn on the TV, set things, you know, turn on music, you know, being able to do all of that, you know, with simple commands as you're running around with your busy schedule. You know, being able to run in and say, hey, I'm cold, turn up the temperature, turn on the lights in the living room, pause the speakers because I need to yell at the kids. You know, being able to just control the whole house, you know, every aspect of your life. When you're too busy to have to try and write down, take notes, you can do it, you can say it out loud, and it'll be done for you. Now let's get into the setup, because that's what is all about for you guys. You guys are the dealers. You're going to be going out and selling this. You're going to be setting it up. And let me tell you how easy this is to set up. It is so simple. You take the Google Home. You're going to plug it in. Google Home talks to you and tells you, turn on your Wi-Fi, go to your settings on your phone, find the Google Home Wi-Fi. It broadcasts an SSID automatically. You'll connect to it real quick. It's going to tell you open up the Google Home app. You open up the Google Home app. It finds your Google Home. You click on it. It's going to ask you it'll auto scan for your home network. Find the SSID. You'll select it. You'll put in the password for that home network. It will then automatically connect, and it will update the Google Home. Now, one thing I do have to say, when you update for the first time, when you're first setting this up, it does take a little time to update once you're connected. Don't freak out. Don't think it locked up. Again, take a peek at the instruction manual. It does have a certain colors on the top of that RGB LED ring, and it'll start flashing white up and down, and that just means it's updating. It takes about 10-15 minutes to update the first time. Once it's updated, it's good to go. But just keep that in mind. You didn't break anything. I know, because when I first set mine up the first time, I was wondering the same thing. Uh-oh. So, very easy to set up. That's it. One slide. Nice and easy setup, and you're good to ready to rock and roll. Now let's get into some of the actual hardware, what it entails. We already talked about far-field voice recognition. We already talked a little bit about multi-room capability. When you're setting up your Google Home in your app, you're going to be able to specify this one is in the office, this one's in the living room, this one is in the bedroom. And it's going to then tie into devices in those rooms and or whole house. So right in Google Home, as you're setting it up, it's going to ask you what room it's in, and it does it there for you. Now, also, Touch controls, we already talked about that. It gives you the ability, if you don't want to talk, if let's say you make a phone call and you have time to tell Google Home to mute this, you can walk over and hit the mute button on top. You have the actual mute mic button, and volume up, volume down very easily. Now let's get into one thing I really want to stress is the hi-fi speaker. You know, when you see something this small, this compact, I was really skeptical on how nice that actually could sound, and it really is a nice sounding speaker with the clear highs to actually the low range that it can put out. It really is a nice piece. So, superior sound and voice technology. Here's a little statement of Google. You know, just want to read this out to you. Google Home works over Wi-Fi, integrated high excursion speakers, delivers crystal clear highs, so on and so forth. All you do is say, okay, Google, while playing music, the far field microphone will pick up that natural speaking sound over what it's playing, drop down the music, recognize what you said, and do your whatever you asked. And since we're going into different rooms, Google Home does have the ability to add different bases. Now, keep in mind, I do want to point this out. We at Capital Sales only sell the one with the silver base. Okay, that's the middle one, right? If you kind of line up, it's the middle one there, the darker silver base. You can buy custom bases from Google, though. So most of the places you're only going to find silver anyways, but you can order custom. If you want to customize them for each room, maybe it makes it a little easier to set up maybe. I just wanted to point that out there. Now we'll go a little bit over the elephant in the room. Google Home versus Amazon Echo. You know, this is something third party, this is pulled right off of CNET, and wanted to just look at the differences. So these are retail prices, you know, $130 for Google Home, $180 for Amazon Echo. Obviously, they both respond to voice commands. Obviously, they're both always listening. To wake it up, you can say, okay, Google, or hey, Google. For Amazon Echo, you're going to say Alexa, Echo, or Amazon. Music streaming options, Google Play, YouTube Music, Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn. Basically, the difference is one does Google Play, the other one does Amazon Prime. Now, they're both expanding. Obviously, these lists are always growing. So I would not base it off of strict music and or smart home. When I pulled this slide off a week ago, they probably already added a few more. So you're going to want to check right on both Google Home and Amazon Echo's page if you want to get a comparison to that day, because both these companies have extremely large resources in development and they're always adding. So I cannot say that this is exactly what they have now because I grabbed this slide about a week ago and the stuff has probably changed since then. So from then on, Google Home also has Nest, SmartThings, Philips Hue, Belkin, Wemo, Honeywell, IFTTT. There is obviously, these are ones that Google has written and supported, okay? So they partnered and made those. That doesn't mean that they do also have an open API. Okay, they do have the developer SDK, which lets third-party people, third-party developers and or third-party manufacturers write modules to control it. Okay, so even if it's not on the list, does not mean that it can't be controlled. You want to do some research to see if that can happen. I do know that it'll be able to, that there is ways for it to be able to control Z-Wave interfaces, Z-Wave gateways like the URC, TRF-CW2, and a few other gateways out there. You know, the Mios, Vera, Edge, you know, and there's a lot of different options out there. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that just because it may not be on this list does not mean it can't be controlled. You just want to double check that. So both of them, customizable appearance. Google Home is a yes because you can customize the color base. Amazon Echo, not customizable unless you want to try and pull out a can of spray paint. Output to stereo system. The Google Home, yes, you can. You can do it via Chromecast. Now that Amazon has the Amazon Dot, you can do it with that as well. Sync audio playback to multiple devices. Yes, you can with Google Cast. Okay. Amazon Echo, you cannot yet. personal assist, Google search gives you the ability to do personalized daily, everything we've talked about already. So both of these are pretty well right on par. Some of the biggest differences is the price, a little higher with Amazon Echo. Now again, they do have more options now. They've got the Dot and a few others. So, but both of them, I just wanted to get that out there. Specs, you can find this right on the website. Both iOS and Android support, obviously. Colors, white, slate fabric, and multiple color bases. A lot of audio supported formats. There's a big drop down. I can only do so much. Biggest thing is wireless. It is a dual band, so it could do 2.4 and or 5G. Okay, so you have that that ability. Now, let's get into questions. Before I do, I want to leave this up here. I want to tell you about the Training Day Special. First of all, thanks guys for hopping on. It's always fun trying to listen to me at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. You guys definitely have better things to do than to listen to me talk. But the Training Day Special is normal dealer is $105 for the Google Home. You get $6 off today for it. And really the biggest reason is you guys know there's not a ton of margin to begin with in these type of devices, but we're trying to do whatever we can, and we've got another $6 off of this, so it's $99 for the next 2 days for you guys. I would definitely stress getting one of these. It's a really cool piece, and being able to walk in and being able to show it to the customer, have it sitting in your showroom, it's a very cool piece. I am all about you're going to sell what you know and what you have and what you can play with. So I would definitely stress to get one, play with it, live with it, see what it can do, and then you also know what your customer is talking about when they call. So I really stress and I talk to every manufacturer that every salesperson needs to have a piece of and play with the items that they're selling for that very reason. So take advantage of the Training Day Special, guys. Now I'm going to get into the questions here. First of all, does it use just one Google account or linked accounts? Would you be able to create separate Google accounts for a home with multiple users? So give me a second here. I'm opening up the Google Home app. I only try, and again, I know these questions pop up, and with a big company like Google, it's very hard to get somebody right online that knows everything about this. So I'm going to go into account preferences, and I can go into link devices, and I can do multiple devices. So that's going to be, first of all, multiple multiple Google Homes. Now, let me actually take a peek at, give me a second here. It looks like you can actually add multiple accounts as well. So you are able to add multiple accounts and specify that right in there. Let's see here. The next question is, I assume the device can be controlled by any smart device that integrates with Nest, such as Lutron, Caseta, dimmers, and lamp controllers. Yes. Most cloud-based devices, and again, I would recommend always check on Google Home site because it's going to change daily. They do have a huge list. Like I said, I pulled that a week ago off. It should also be able to control Google Nest. Most cloud-based systems are much easier to integrate with than local. And Nest or Caseta is one of those cloud-based controllers. Let's see here. Next question is, how does it work with multiple users talking to it? And know how, let's see here, Google Calendar, for example, to add the appointment to. Good question. I personally have not tried that. So if you want to touch base after this, definitely reach out to me. I have a Google Home here. I can do more in-depth testing on it with multiple accounts. So I cannot give any answer on that until I play with it for sure. So touch base after the fact, and we can get into that a little more. The next one, if I'm using Google Home to play music through my Chromecast audio, do I have the option of using the built-in speakers or not for Google Home device? Yes, you do, because you actually can specify where you want that played. So you can say, do I want to watch or I want to listen to music on my Chromecast, or do I want to just listen to music? If I don't specify Chromecast, it's going to go right through the speaker, okay, the local speakers. Does playback work to multiple playback devices at the same time? In other words, if I have 2 Chromecast audios, can I cast to both simultaneously? It's going to be, it really depends, actually, what I would say, because if it depends on what you're using for the source. You know, if you're using Pandora, you're going to stream one Pandora play to both. It really depends. And again, there's a lot of testing I haven't done with this device. You know, there's always questions and pushing it to the next level, and I haven't done it that. You know, I've been playing with it for a while, but I haven't tried doing multiple Chromecasts with the same source. So does Google control Sonos or Lutron Caseta? So let me go back here, and again, best thing to do, guys, I know it can do Lutron, I've seen it be able to do Lutron Caseta. I don't know Sonos, I believe it can. You will want to verify that on either Google or Sonos's website, though. Again, best place to find out for sure where everything's going is right on the site. It changes daily, so you'll want to double check that. Next question, very important, do you know if an interface with control systems such as C4, etc. is coming? I know URC is working on it, RTI is working on it, I am sure that Control4 is working on it. You know, it's that race to get it out first. I know that you know, that everybody's kind of went, Amazon Echo just got released, they're already working on Google Home as well. And, you know, really they start with Amazon Echo just because it's been out a little longer. Google Home should be much quicker to get integrated with because it does have that open SDK. So, can Google Home access the Play My Tunes collection? It does not do what I have to say is it depends. It depends on what kind of music you have in there. If it doesn't do iTunes directly. So, and again, that can change. You want to check on the website for that. A lot of these integration stuff, guys, you need to just verify right from the website because it does change daily. Right this second, iTunes, no, or I shouldn't say right this second. When I checked last, which was about a week ago, iTunes was not in there yet. So is Capital planning on carrying the new Google Wi-Fi mesh units? Seems like a perfect product to integrate with Google and Nest. I'm going to say stay tuned for that one, okay? I can't get into any of those things. I will just say stay tuned. All right, next question is, I believe the unit only integrates with one Google account at a time. You can add in multiple accounts into your Google Home web page, but I do need to test that some more, guys. I want to just, like I said, touch base after the fact when we get into that. Let's see here. Does the device record and send information to Google when it does not use the wake word? Good question, Matt. You know, for what I know, it does not. It does not constantly record information unless it's actually been activated first. Okay. Let's see here. Next question. Did I hear you say Google Home plays with URC's ZW2? There is ways to get around that. Okay. It's with the Mios. And again, you'll want to research it. There is an app or an app inside the Mios plugin. Actually, I should say not an app, a plugin that has Google Home in there. So you'll want to hop on log into the ZW2, go to the plugin store and start looking for it. There was one on there. I actually tested it here. Worked fine. So you'll want to just verify it's still there. I haven't logged into it in a few days, but I'm sure it still is. If it was there a week ago, the plugin should still be in there and should work good. Besides price, what are the other pros and cons versus Amazon Echo for controlling third-party devices like Roku and Sonos? You know, at this point, it's really a race, guys. Both Amazon and Google Home, they're both racing to integrate with everything. You know, I think that Google Home has a little better head start, not for how many people they're controlling, but for the Open SDK, which gives the ability for third-party developers to create stuff, which opens up the door for integration to make it much quicker than Amazon Echo. At this point, Amazon Echo does have a lot more, can integrate with a lot more, but right now the SDK is harder to get than the Google Home. So the next question is, and again, so at this point, it's daily. Things are popping up, guys. It's integrating. You're going to, I mean, I try and stay on top of things. I also have 150 lines I'm trying to stay on top of things with. Definitely, I would recommend hopping on Amazon, Google Home site, the local, Sonos site, all of those things. Just go and double check and take a peek. Okay, the next question is, how do we cash in on the special? All right, so the way the specials work, this is how every webinar I do, we offer a special. The way it works is as soon as I get off the webinar, usually it takes a half an hour to 45 minutes for GoToWebinar to be able to populate me a list of everybody that's attended. What we're going to do is we're going to get that to all of the account managers. Okay, so give us a half an hour, 45 minutes, and you're going to just give your local account manager a call or an email, and all they're going to do is verify that you were on the webinar, and that's going to open you up for the special. Okay, so nothing for you guys that you have to do except for just give us a little bit of time to populate the list and get it out to you guys, or get it out to our account managers. So the next question is, does it constantly record, or does it only record, send audio to Google when it's been in a command? Again, I mentioned that before. I really don't. It should not, and I don't believe it does auto record no matter what. But again, I want to just take a peek and look into that. I believe it's only active as soon as it hears "Okay Google" or "Hi Google." So. Right, Mike. You are correct. Mike just made the comment. Amazon has a head start because it's been out longer, but Google Home has the database search behind it, which is a huge deal to beat, or hard deal to beat. And above and beyond that is, I think Google is going to start beating Amazon in the race for integration because it also has that open SDK for developers. So that makes it much easier to build that database and be able to integrate with a lot more third-party devices. So, but at this point, Amazon does have the lead for third-party integration. And, right now it's a toss-up. I'm going to see, it's kind of fun to see where it all goes. But at this point, I'm rooting for Google because I know that it's got the database behind it, that it's hard, Amazon really can't beat, and it's hard to beat, and it also has that open SDK. So I think I answered most of your guys' questions. One other one just popped up. Looking at the services page on Google Home site, I see Honeywell listed as a service under the smart home category. Does this include Honeywell's Total Connect? Again, let me do some looking on that. I don't sell Honeywell, so I would have to start really researching that for you there, Alex. But if any of you guys have any questions on this stuff or integration, I can get into the specifics on certain devices after, off this call, and kind of do some one-on-one and really start looking into it if you guys want. So if there's specific ones, definitely reach out to me. I would definitely recommend getting in touch with your local account manager, Capital, and take advantage of the special so you can have one and play with it. You're going to be able to do exactly what I can. Some of these questions, as soon as I get off this webinar, I'm going to start actually testing them here. I can see on Google Home, I can add multiple accounts. I want to see how far I can take it with multiple accounts. Things like that. You learn it by doing it and take advantage of the special, and that's the reason we do these specials, so you guys can have them in hand to learn these things. So, again, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your crazy days to listen to me talk. I truly enjoy being able to, help teach you guys on some of the products out there, and I learn things as well when I'm doing these because you guys push me to learn more. So I just want to thank you guys for that as well. Again, thanks again. Call your account manager to give us about a half an hour, 45 minutes before you start hounding them because we got to get the list to them as well. So I just want to say thanks, and I hope to see you guys again on the next webinar.